Main function of kidney is to filter blood and to remove the toxic waste urea from it. And it is done with the help of nephron, which is called as structural and functional unit of kidney. First of all, we will see the structure of nephron, which can be broadly divided into 6 parts: Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, proximal convoluted tubule, loop of Henle, distal convoluted tube, and the collecting duct. Now this cup-shaped part is the Bowman's capsule, and it has highly permeable and thin walls. Inside the Bowman's capsule, a branch of renal artery enters, which is called as efferent arteriole. And this efferent arteriole breaks into many capillaries inside the Bowman's capsule, and this bunch of capillaries is called as glomerulus. Inside the glomerulus, blood is flowing under high pressure, and the walls of these capillaries are highly permeable and very thin. Bowman's capsule then extends in the form of a narrow tubule, which is called as proximal convoluted tube. It is highly twisted and convoluted, and then it extends, becomes straight and extends into the medulla part of the kidney, takes a U-turn and comes back into the cortex part. This U-shaped part is called as loop of Henle. It becomes twisted and convoluted again, and it is called as distal convoluted tube, which joins with the collecting duct. The main function of nephron is to separate urea from the blood, which is brought through the tubular part into the collecting duct. Let's see the location of nephron inside the kidney. This is the Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, proximal convoluted tube, distal convoluted tube. All these parts lie in the cortex region of the kidney. And only the U-shaped part, which is the loop of Henle, only this part lies in the medulla region of the kidney. So this is the location and the structure of the nephron. Now we will see how nephron functions. Ultrafiltration is taking place inside the nephron, and ultrafiltration is the process in which a fluid which is flowing under high pressure through a semi-permeable membrane, then the things which have lower molecular mass, they escape out of that semi-permeable membrane. So same thing is happening inside this nephron. Glomerulus, which has thin semi-permeable walls, and blood is flowing under high pressure through it. As a result, the things come out of the blood and collect inside the Bowman's capsule. All these things, they are called as glomerular filtrate, and these include urea, water, glucose, amino acids, ions, sodium ion, potassium ion, chloride ion, etc. So this glomerular filtrate collects in the Bowman's capsule, and this process is called as ultrafiltration. We will now see all the steps that are involved in the formation of urine. First of all, a branch of renal artery called as efferent arteriole, it brings the blood to the nephron of the kidney, that is to the inside the Bowman's capsule. And inside the Bowman's capsule, it also breaks into many capillaries, which together are called as glomerulus. Walls of glomerulus are semi-permeable, and blood is flowing under high pressure inside the glomerulus. As a result, ultrafiltration occurs inside the glomerulus, and many things escape out of the blood and collect inside the Bowman's capsule. All these things together are called as glomerular filtrate. This filtrate includes urea, water, glucose, amino acids, salts, etc. Glomerular filtrate then passes into the tubular part of the nephron. Now this part of the nephron is highly twisted and convoluted so as to increase the surface area, because in the glomerular filtrate, along with urea, many other useful substances have also escaped from the blood. So they are reabsorbed in this tubular part. And these things which are reabsorbed include water, glucose, amino acids, salts, etc. Urea, which is dissolved in water, is then taken up to the collecting duct. From the collecting duct, it is taken to the urinary bladder with the help of ureters. From urinary bladder, it is passed out of the body with the help of urethra. And this process of passing out urine is called as micturition. Kidneys play a very important role in removing the toxic substance, that is urea, from the blood. If this urea remains inside our blood for 3 days or 4 days, it will be fatal. Person cannot survive without the removal of this urea from our body. And if for some reason the kidneys of a person are not working properly and urea keeps accumulating in the blood, the person cannot survive unless and until this urea is removed artificially. It can be done by the process of dialysis or hemodialysis. In this process, blood of the person is taken out and then it is pumped into a network of tube-like structures. These tube-like structures are made up of a semi-permeable membrane like cellulose or some other synthetic material, and these tubes are kept in a dialysing solution which has same osmotic pressure as that of blood. While the blood, which is under high pressure, is passing through these semi-permeable tubes, urea and certain other substances come out of it and enter into the dialysing solution. The rest of the blood is then pumped back into the body of the person. Now this process is same as the functioning of the nephron, but only difference is that in this the useful substances are not reabsorbed by the body. As a result, after the dialysis process, the person feels extreme weakness as he has lost glucose and salts and too much of water from its blood. So we see that kidneys are very, very important for our survival and we must take proper care of our kidneys. Now we see that every day when we pass urine, sometimes the quantity of urine is more and sometimes quantity of urine is less. Now can you tell on what factor does the quantity of urine depends? Now, the volume of urine that is excreted depends upon two factors. Number one, the amount of water that we have consumed that day, and number two, amount of urea that has to be excreted. If we have consumed more water or if there is more urea inside the body, then amount of urine will be more and vice versa. This is all about excretion of waste in animals. We will now see excretion of waste in plants. Plants have very little waste to be excreted, but still they have their own ways to get rid of their waste. First of all, oxygen, which is the waste product of photosynthesis, and carbon dioxide, which is the waste product of respiration, it is removed from the plant body through stomata. Similarly, water is lost by transpiration through stomatas only. Certain waste are thrown out into the surrounding soil with the help of roots, or sometimes some salts they are deposited inside the roots of the plant. Some waste products are stored inside the vacuoles of leaves or fruits, and when those leaves and fruits they fall off, then this waste is also removed from the plant body. And sometimes waste are stored in the bark of the tree, and when this bark is shed off, then also the wastes are removed from the plant. Now, excess water in the xylem along with some nutrients is also thrown out of the plant body in the form of tiny droplets from the surface of the leaf, and this process is called as guttation. Stem also helps in the excretion of certain waste like resins or gums. So these resins or gums just simply come out of the plant body through the stems from the lenticels.